Okay, so you're not meeting together, but you still had a magician at youth group?
Well, yeah, like nobody's meeting together, right? So we're all trying to figure this thing out. But
you had a magician. That's real magic.
Well, yeah. So, but as you know, I've got a buddy, Jared Hall, who's ridiculously amazing. I got a bunch of buddies who are ridiculously amazing, but
like me,
Jared does this thing. You're amazing too, Jody. Yes, but he travels around and does youth camps and does teenage stuff all the time. As soon as this thing happened, like 2 weeks ago, he and I started talking really quick, and so he came on to our, like a few days ago, our Wednesday night Zoom meeting, and we promoted it, sent an email to parents, and he came on, and it was rough, and it's hard to do magic on a video screen because it's like, hey, pick a card. Oh wait, you can't. But it was good, man. It was great. He did a great job. But we talked a little bit on there as well. People got to hear from him. He brought Rocky on, his raccoon, his little raccoon thing, which is hilarious.
I have one of those.
So it was good, man. It was a lot of fun. And I think there's a lesson in that. I think we're going to talk about this in our episode today, but a little bit of this stuff. But I think the thing we learned was it's okay to just have fun, and it's okay to provide something different. And I'll tell you this, there are a whole lot of people who do what Jared does and speak for a living and do all kinds of things that don't have anything to do right now.
No.
And so
you know what the greatest thing is?
You would be surprised. I shouldn't even say this out loud because everybody's going to start doing what I'm about to start doing. But you would be surprised how many of these people would say, sure, I got nothing else to do Wednesday night at 7 o'clock or whenever it is you normally meet.
One of the things that, this is bad. This is going to sound bad. One of the highlights of the quarantine right now is that I follow all these guys that are magicians, and they're all stuck at home. So they really don't
magic
have a lot
galore,
to do.
Baby.
So their
magic
Instagram
galore.
feed
So
is just full of them doing magic tricks, which is awesome.
Yeah, like for real, man.
It's so great.
Yep.
I haven't seen you do any though.
Well, I don't normally do stuff like that. So, but yeah. So, yeah, it's a good time.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Well, hey guys, welcome to the show. That's Chris over there, and I'm Jody.
Hey, Chris here from Marietta, Georgia.
Woohoo! And I'm Jody. I'm out in California under shelter in place.
Dude, you guys are locked down more than most. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Gosh, I'm so stir crazy. It's been like 2 weeks, a week and a half.
Man,
I don't even know.
man.
I've lost count. I just know I am going nuts.
Yep. Well, give us a quick. Hey, so quick update for you, Jody. Hey, by the way, we're both youth pastors. If you're just finding this for the first time, what an episode to find. But a lot of folks that are listening are probably longtime listeners. And quick update. So, Jody, you are. I mean, how long have you been working out of your house now? So that we're recording this just for purposes because this is a timely thing. We're recording this on Friday, March 27th is whenever we're doing this. So Friday, March 27th. So how quick did y'all get locked down as far as having to stay home?
We've been working from home for 2 weeks.
Ooh. So we just switched 2 days ago to that.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So I've only been here 2 days. And my family is hating me, I'm thinking. So, but my daughter loves me a lot. But, my wife.
What's 2 days?
She's
give
in
us
the
some
background
time.
listening, so I'm making fun of her. But I'm cooking meals, dude. We're eating meals as a family together.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. Like it's nuts. So
yeah, we've been 2 weeks.
Do you have toilet paper? How's your toilet paper situation?
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Good.
Well, here's what's crazy. So this isn't, for people who don't live in California, this is not going to sound like that big of a deal. But gas right now is like $2.80 something for us, which is insane. Like super, super cheap. But if you need gas, you don't have to wait in line to get that. Like 3 weeks ago, you wouldn't have been able to get near a gas pump for that. But right now, you can pull up literally and get gas without waiting in line. But if you need to go in someplace to get toilet paper or something like that, you're going to wait in line forever.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, so we're working remotely, which means we're in a million video calls all day long.
Yep.
And trying to figure out, like everybody else, what
I was on
looks like.
4 yesterday. 4. And I think you were on more than that.
Yeah, yesterday was a long day for me.
Yeah,
they haven't all been like that, but I'm going to be a pro before it's all over, just in time to go back to normal.
Yeah, well, that's what's kind of nuts, like a few days, like, gosh, I think at the beginning of the week, well, it was last week. Whenever this whole thing happened, we realized I just had to start watching. I had to become an expert in Zoom like overnight.
Yeah.
Googled YouTube and watched and played, and literally several different times. Hey, family, I need y'all to jump on real quick. I need to try something. I'm not kidding. Like my family would, they're in their rooms or whatever, and they jump on, and I try different things out. But yeah, it's good, man. Well, hey, our purpose for today is we're going to make this thing quick. We just want to share a couple thoughts with everyone. I will tell you this. Listen, we are super thankful for our sponsors. And here's what's interesting. Both of our sponsors are probably going to be impacted this from a financial standpoint. And so we need to be keeping those folks in mind. But first of all, just a shout out to YM360. The thing is, there's no doubt people are going to still need curriculum at times, and people are going to still need some of their other resources. And at this point, camp is still on for the summer. They've not made any decisions about that, but it's going to be interesting how summer plays out for all of us when it comes to youth ministry. And that may be another podcast here in a couple of weeks that we have to do, which is how do we now do summer youth ministry. But that said, love those guys at YM360. They're there for you if you have a unique situation. But one thing they're offering right now that is super cool is if you're looking for a resource to help you with your youth services, they're offering some of that. So if you're looking for some free content that will help you with this whole process, I'm trying to get the exact name
like
here.
Youth Group at Home.
Yeah, youth group canceled. Bring youth group to your students with youth group at home. And guess what? You click on that bad boy, and I'm clicking on it right now, and it's like free if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Isn't it free?
It is.
Yeah, it's totally free. Totally free. They're just giving the stuff away, and you can use the video and stream it however you. And they're doing live stream stuff, so you can like tune in and watch that together. Andy Blanks is doing it. Andy, that dude, I think he's like, we have him right now scheduled for our D Now.
Yeah.
Like he's good. He's so good. And he's just doing it for free. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
So YM360, I love those guys. And I mean this seriously. Pray for them. Pray for all these type of folks that do this stuff. And that's huge. So, and then we've got our game folks, man. You want to tell everybody about that, Jody?
Yeah. We love the folks at Aerosport. Chris and I both have one of their game sets. We actually gave one away not too long ago. And
we used to do this thing where we would get together with people in person.
Yeah, like
back
all
of
our students would come together,
together in person,
relatively
and play games.
close, like closer than 6 feet apart. And we would play a game. And one of those games we would play was Aerosport.
And listen, it's going to be back. I know everybody's finances are tight right now, and odds are people aren't buying. But there you go. That's an option for you.
Aerosport.fun.
It's the letter O, Sport. At least check it out. Put it on your list for whenever your budget gets released again, and check it out. It's good.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, and it's super fun.
Yep. And some of our people have been ordering from them, man. So that's super cool. So way to go. Oh, and there's a discount for both of these people still.
Yes.
Which is longer haul.
Yep.
You get a discount with YM360 and a discount with Aerosport by using the code longer haul.
Yeah. So if you're going to make sure you use that. Save you money on everything. Except for toilet paper.
Well, hey, let's jump into this thing. So it's just you and I today. No special guests.
Just the two of us.
Because we're living this. How do you want to do this? I think the main point today would just be to say, hey, here's what we're learning right now.
Yeah.
And if we were going to say, as a couple of youth pastors who have done this, who's been doing this for a while, if you're just looking for like, hey, help, how do I navigate all of this? Maybe just throw out a few guiding principles is all we're saying. And we get that there's more content right now out there than you could possibly handle, more people telling you how to do all this stuff. So I would just say this more than anything. God has you where you're serving for a reason, and your students do need you right now if you're listening to this. So,
yeah,
and it's going to be different for everybody. And you're going to look on the internet, and you're going to look on Facebook, and you're going to see churches that are doing these unbelievably like, whoa, wow, what they're, and it can get a little overwhelming to see that stuff. But the fact is that what I believe is important anyway, is that the folks that are doing content, that's great, content's important, but there's more to it than that. And that's what I want to talk about for a few minutes. So my pastor, Clay Smith, put it into words for me the other day. I was already feeling a lot of this, Jody, and I shared this with you already. I thought we could maybe use this as a guideline and let you chip in as well on each one of these. But he's called it the 3 C's. Clay Smith, my pastor,
Clay he told me he joked with me. I like him because he seems to be a guy who likes to alliterate as well.
He's an alliteration. I'm about to do alliteration, which is nuts.
That's fantastic. Look how far we've come, you and I.
Look how far we've come. He said he's going to, I said, hey, I'm going to use this on my podcast. He said, I'm going to want royalty. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So he was joking, of course.
He knows we do this for free?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. The 3 C's. The 3 C's of what we're dealing with right now. Number 1 is content. First thing is content. And listen, anybody can do content. There's more content, man. Brad Paisley's putting on free concert. Everybody's putting on free concerts. There's free magic everywhere. There's free everything. There's more content than you can possibly deal with, possibly handle right now. It doesn't mean that content is bad, but I would just say that know this, your students are overloaded with possibilities.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thought. Okay, so here's a question, because I saw this the other day. I'd love to get your take, because I have an opinion on this. That's probably going to sound a little
contradictory. Hold up, you're saying you have an opinion about something?
That's shocking, right?
Shocking.
It's almost like I should do a podcast or something. This is going to sound like I'm going to contradict myself later, but
possible. Well, that's what's interesting about this. What we're talking about right now,
yes,
is it feels contradictory. Go ahead.
So there's kind of 2 thoughts right now, and I was in another youth pastors Facebook group. Somebody asked this question, and there seems to be 2 prevailing thoughts. One is people, but we'll say students for our sake, are at home, stuck at home, inundated with content and media. And so we should do less so that we don't pile more on them and overwhelm them with more content. That's one side. The other side is students are home right now, stuck at home on their screens, taking in a ton of content. So we should do as much as we can to get in front of them as often as we can to steer and shepherd them towards something that's healthier. What do you have thoughts on that? Like, which is?
Yes. That's the whole problem with this whole conversation is yes.
I'll say this. I don't know that there's a right or wrong.
Thoughts, but I agree. Like it's where is the balance?
Yeah.
And here's part of the problem. Listen, you don't have to listen to the podcast very long to know that Jody and I are both in larger churches with a fair amount of resources, including we're blessed. Jody and I both are blessed to work with a team of other people that help us.
Yeah.
But Jody, even you and I cannot produce the same quality of content that is out there in other ways.
Oh, sure.
And we cannot compete.
So here's my thought, and because I've gone back and forth with this. I think I fall in the second camp. I think that I want to get in front of my students as much as I can and try to steer them towards something healthy and godly, recognizing that I'm not going to hit every student, nor can I, and that I don't really have it figured out. Like no one does, and that's the thing.
Right.
That's the danger too right now is that I think if we're not careful as student pastors, we fall into the same trap that we've been hopefully preaching and teaching our students forever, is that your identity is not wrapped up in your feed, and what you see of others is a highlight reel, not the real story. And so my fear is that a lot of youth pastors are looking at other churches and seeing all of this stuff and going, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do that. Look how great that is. And the reality is it's a mess.
Oh, so here, full disclosure. So you could go on at JF Middle School or at JF High School and check out the things we've been doing. We quickly implemented a social media plan where we said every morning at 10 o'clock, and I think this is great. I think it's good. Every morning at 10 o'clock, we post the JF Daily Challenge. Kids know what the challenge is. They post that. It's awesome. And, our team's doing funny stuff, and they're posting TikTok dances, and they're doing all these crazy things. And then at 3 o'clock every day, we go on live, and we have kids coming on, and our pastor's jumping on. We're doing all these different things, and we're doing this stuff, right? Here's the truth, though. It's deep. I think we're doing a good job with it. But the truth is, Jody, we're only scratching the surface of the amount of kids. When you look at our actual reach in terms of how many kids we're actually connecting with that way, how many views, how many people watching, how many people participating, we're only scratching the surface compared to what we have on Sunday mornings, which is our real core group of kids. I think the content is still important, but it's going to have to be more, Yeah. And I will say, I will say this, add this to you, what you're saying as well. Like, my pastor, again, he shared his heart with us the other morning. It was just good stuff. Another thing he brought to our attention that I had not thought about was there are, and I'm going to interpret it for teenagers. There are a lot of teenagers right now that this is going to be a real good time for them. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff happen as a result of this. There are a lot of teenagers, though, who live in really difficult circumstances. Think of the kids that live in abusive situations, whose home life is already a wreck, or who have addictions. Mm-hmm. Think about that kid in your group that's addicted to pornography. And the problem is that this 3, 4, 6, 8, whatever weeks that this thing turns out to be, Jody, this could be a very life-altering in a negative way thing for them as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I think what you're saying about getting in front of them, trying to provide something, I think that part matters. But I would lead into the second C with this, which is, the content part. And anybody with a cell phone can produce this stuff. But the second C is where it starts to get really difficult. And this costs us more time, and it's going to actually require in some ways more creativity, and that is connect.
Yeah.
So content, matters, but the real secret in all this, I think, and I don't have all the answers, but connecting is going to be huge. And that's where we've got to figure out. So we quickly transitioned. We got our online presence in order, our social media presence, but we quickly transitioned into, hey, now what are we doing, though, to connect with kids? So we called every single life group leader personally and asked them that question. How are you doing with connecting? Zoom calls, phone calls, even saying to middle school parents who have kids that don't even have cell phones, hey, call their parents and talk to them. Make this thing happen, and because, boy, the connecting part is going to be huge. How are y'all trying to transition from content to connecting, Jody?
Yeah, so, gosh, I mean,
and again, we're all figuring this out, right?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out some things. I think from a content perspective, right? Some things are passive. Like, we're just putting something in front of you, like a daily devotional that you're literally just going to watch.
Right. Some
things are more connecting, albeit still virtual. So like Zoom calls for small groups, or like our Wednesday night service when we're streaming that and there's chat there. So trying to give them an opportunity to still connect a bit there. Yeah. And then, like you're saying, we've got small group leaders that we're really encouraging to reach out and check in and make sure that kids are okay and that they're jumping in Zoom calls with small groups. And
yeah, totally.
And I think we're trying to be mindful not to look past our leaders to our students right now, because we have a lot of leaders who struggle as well. So it was the other
big Tuesday, time, bro.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
You did a Zoom call with all your leaders. I did one yesterday with all of our leaders.
Was it awesome?
Well, we did multiple options. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was
everybody
so
just
good.
sharing, and we broke everybody up into rooms, middle school and high school, and they just lit up, man. Just getting to talk to everybody,
Yeah, it was cool.
You got to remember, this is their tribe, man. Mm-hmm. On Sunday mornings or whenever you meet, that's their tribe of people that they hang out with, and they're not getting, it's been 2 weeks since they've hung out with each other.
Yeah, we did one Tuesday night with all 4 campuses, which is we don't even normally do that. Like, that's not even a normal thing for us. And so we had all the staff from all 4 campuses, and then invited all the volunteers from all 4 to come in. And I think it was so cool for them to see each other, because everybody feels so isolated right now, and like they're trying to figure this out. And just to see each other and be reminded that we're still in this together and that you're not alone, it was super encouraging. And so that kind of stuff, we've done that. We're looking at other things that we can do, where we can invite students into it that has some type of engagement, and it's not just them passively receiving things. And so I think, and we're still figuring it out. We'll see how it goes. Every week we evaluate what we do, and then we tweak it, and we'll go from there. But I think you're right. We've got so many kids who they're just struggling. Now, what's cool, what I will say, what's been really refreshing is, and we've seen this on our Wednesday night live stream and even in some of those Zoom things, is that there is a really increasing longing for our students to gather back together, which, I think,
seriously, man, not
that our students didn't enjoy coming together before, but it was ritual. It was just this is what we do. We do this on Wednesday nights. We come, and it wasn't something that probably carried the weight or the value. And man, I cannot tell you how many students Wednesday night were like talking about how much they miss coming together as a small group and miss being together on Wednesday nights. That's super cool.
And I'm wondering how God's going to use that on the back end whenever we are finally. I was talking with another youth pastor yesterday, and he and I both got pretty emotional thinking about what that day is going to be like when we're able to all get back together.
Yeah.
But I could really see that turning into like a good grief. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, we've started having some conversations already. What is that? We don't know when it's going to be, but what will that day look like? What will that gathering look like?
Yep.
And what needs to take place there? Yeah, yep. I think it's going to be cool.
Well, 3 C's, content, connect, and the third C would be, once you've connected, realizing that we need to care for people. And I think that's where we have to start remembering that there are people with different needs, and work hard towards caring for people in the midst of this as well. Because fact is that we're not spending, as youth pastors, we're not spending time in our office hours coming up with games, writing messages, doing all that type of stuff. So we need to learn things that we've not had to do before. Well, I used to do it back in the day, but it may be. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. Today we're calling all of our senior adults as ministerial staff. And I called one guy today, one senior adult today, but grandson, freshman in high school, grandson answered the phone. This kid named Austin, and he and I are just talking on the phone, and I'm like, "Hey, man, what's up? How you doing?" And we're just talking, like having a phone conversation, old school phone conversation. And it took me a second to get him to kind of break down because he didn't know how to type a conversation, but
right.
But it was actually very, and I think we're going to have to care for people and check on those people and those kids especially that we know are struggling, and care for them.
Yeah. And I think, to your point, 3 weeks ago, it had been weird to call. I think a parent would have felt weird about it for some of us, and students would, but now it's like refreshing,
Yeah. Jody, I'm feeling convicted right now too, man, just to be honest with you, because I feel like I'm probably not caring for you like I should, because I shared with you before we started the podcast that I'm going this afternoon to Chewy's literally to get some carry out, and I'm feeling guilty about that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to go, and I'm probably still going to send you a picture.
Oh, I would expect nothing less. Nothing less.
But just for the record, I am feeling convicted about it. About rubbing that in your face.
You shouldn't. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
Well, there they are, the 3 C's: content, connect, care. There's a whole lot of other things that I think Jody and I could unpack about what he's doing, what I'm doing.
But it doesn't matter.
But truthfully, right now, man, we're going to keep this thing short today because we know you've got more content than you can possibly end. But I say that, Jody. Did you have something else you wanted to add, though, man?
Well, I had a thought as you were talking, and I don't. Yeah. This may be a rabbit trail we don't want to chase, and that's fine. We've talked about before on the podcast how student ministry today is, we outsource so much of it, in the sense that you can pretty much purchase most of what you would do. And I wonder for student pastors now who are having to think really creatively and do things differently, man, is this not a time of growth for us and for many of us, and trying to figure out, okay, I'm not putting in office hours now, looking busy. I'm not going and hanging out at the lunchroom. I'm not going to after school, FCA. What does it look like? And I think, what does student ministry look like when you boil it down? If man, God doesn't use this to refine us a bit, and point out some areas where we've been lazy and taking things for granted as a whole.
I think those are wise words, Jody. I hope this comes across as encouraging, in the sense that I'm encouraging you to figure this out if you're listening. But it can sound discouraging. But the fact is that if we end up taking financial hits on this thing, like so many churches are going to probably, if cuts are going to start being made, believe me, you're going to want to be someone on that team that has taken the time to really dig in and figure out how to do ministry in a very effective way.
Yeah.
So I think what you're saying, Jody, is right. We need to step back and figure out. I'm not perfect at this, but I'll tell you this. Yesterday morning was our first day at home. I woke up, got a shower, got dressed, and then came in here to my kitchen and sat down and started working.
Yeah.
And started trying to figure things out. I'm wanting to keep some type of normalcy. That's for my own personal sake, but that's also for accountability for me to make sure that I am figuring out new ways to connect with people.
Yeah.
And care for people, because you don't want 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, for the deacons to be sitting around, or the personnel committee to be sitting around making a decision, and them to go, well, I have no idea what Chris Trent has been doing the last 3 weeks.
Right.
I guess he hasn't been really doing anything.
Right.
No. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. And I'll tell you need to start thinking long term on this thing. You need to do some doomsday scenarios. Mm-hmm. What if you can't go to summer camp? What if you can't take that mission trip this summer? How do you recreate your summer? Well, you need to start thinking about that stuff, and just jotting down some ideas, putting a little team together, having some meetings with people, because it's very possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. I mean, I'll tell you this, Jerry. I mean, this is gosh, again, we're trying to be real honest about this thing. We don't have any answers really. Like today, when I'm sitting here on March 27th, Friday, March 27th, it's hard for me to figure out how we're going to get out of it. I know it's not going to last forever. I know that, but it's hard to imagine the end date on this thing, and it's hard to imagine things going back to normal quickly.
Yeah.
They might. I hope I'm wrong. So we need to. I think what you're saying is important, Jody. We need to be working hard.
Yeah, I've worked harder in the last 2 weeks, I think.
I swear I have. I'm not kidding, dude. Like, it has been. My throat is killing me right now. Like, literally, because I've been talking and recording. I was dreading recording, like, from that standpoint, because, I mean, all I've been doing is talking on meetings and rehashing and talking and thinking and talking and thinking and talking. It's like, So
I was joking last night with Sarah, my wife, telling her that I think I'm going to have to start in the morning. So I'm going to get up once I'm dressed, instead of just going and sitting down to start work. I'm going to go get in the car. I'm going to drive around the block, pull back in the driveway, and come back in the house. So I feel like I've gone to work. Then when I'm done at 4:30, I'm going to get back in the car. I'm going to drive around the block other way, pull back in the driveway.
Just flip your switch.
I've got to stop, man. I can't.
How far do you live from work?
Oh, like 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
You should just drive to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Drive back.
I'm going to have to do something. I'm going crazy. I think, I'm with you. I don't know how long it's going to last, man. I think for all the negative, all the doomsday things that we can think of, and certainly there are, I just can't help but think that we're going to come out stronger in the end for it.
I believe that.
And more effective. And I don't know. We were on
I just think it's going to take a minute.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
That's what I think.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. Well, any last thoughts? Look at that. Magic. No one can see but me.
Yep. No, just don't forget our sponsors, man. YM360 and Aerosport.fun. Man, I love those guys. And
I thought about going to get my Aerosport set from the church and setting up in the backyard.
Heck yeah,
just to have something to do.
Yep.
Cool. Well, hey guys, thanks for jumping in with us today. Shorter episode for sure, and trying times. We're all figuring it out. I don't think anybody really has answers. We're all in it together. But know that we are so grateful for you, not just as a listener, but as a youth worker and someone who loves teens and is in this with us, trying to figure it out. So, thanks for jumping in. Be sure to head over and check out the sponsors. And I don't think we really had anything show note wise, but I'll put the links at least to those sponsors.
Great. Thanks.
On there.
Appreciate you, Jody.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, man.
We'll see you.
Take care, everybody. We'll connect.